ProSKU is a WMS unlike any other. It's a web WMS you can use straight from the cloud, and it's available for an affordable monthly fee with no minimum contract. Developed using modern web technology and development tools, ProSKU is designed for you to set up and use in just a few days. Whether you're an internet trader or wholesaler, manufacturer, 3PL or public sector organisation, ProSKU provides the fastest and most cost-effective route to successful warehouse management. So let's take a look at the product in more detail. Like any system, there are a few things to set up before you can start to use it, but none of it's very difficult. ProSKU can operate as a single or multi-depot system. For that reason, initial data setup is divided into two areas: company setup and depot setup. This allows you to have company-wide settings, as well as those which apply just to individual depots. Company setup contains fixed information the system needs for operation. Most important is the information on owners, users and units of measure, so let's look at these first. The owner's option allows you to control the goods you store by different ownership or identity, as for example in a third-party logistics operation. If this feature is required for your business, it will be set up in advance by the ProSKU implementation team. As well as recording routine information like owner name, address and contact detail, you can specify criteria which determine the way an owner's orders can be managed. If you're a third-party provider and you make handling or storage charges to your clients, you can also create those here. The Users section of Company Setup is where system user details are recorded. Once you've recorded basic user detail including name, password and normal depot, you can amend the predefined access permissions as required. Some of these permissions may be allocated automatically, depending on the type of user being set up. It is also possible to create what is called an owner user. This is a specific user type you can create to allow stock owners, where used, to view their own stock information. The Units of Measure section is where the units of measure used in your operation, things like pallets, cases, packs and units, are defined. ProSKU allows you to select any of the default options available or create your own unique units of measure. The remaining parts of Company Setup contain static data used in a variety of system areas. This includes reason codes, which are used when making adjustments to stock, stock statuses, which are used to identify stock in various conditions, product groups, which can be used to identify products for reporting purposes, suppliers and delivery addresses, which may be used at key parts of the receipt and dispatch process. Depot setup, like company setup, also contains important fixed information needed for system operation, but in this section it is mostly information specific to the depot. It relates to the products you store, where you store them and how you pick them. First of all, let's take a look at the information you can hold about the products you store. The information you'll need on your product record will depend on the features you want to use, but only minimal information is needed to create a basic record. This consists simply of a product code, description and a storage unit of measure. However, depending on the way you intend to receive, store and pick your product, there are many options available. These include extra descriptive fields, storing product images and recording key data such as weight, size and volume. You can also determine how the product will be put away, select methods of rotation, use of batch or serial numbers, and set rules for managing product pick faces. To make the process of product setup easier, your product data can be imported automatically from other sources via API or by CSV transfer. Now let's see how to set up the locations in which your products are stored. This is a really simple process which begins by setting up a warehouse zone. Once you've created a zone, you can enter simple information about the locations contained in it. This will include the numbers of blocks or aisles, columns and levels within your locations, and the capacity for units of measure you intend to store. Now your locations are set up, they can be displayed, and you're ready to start using them. And although locations are given a standard alphanumeric code, you can also create storage locations with a unique, customised name if this suits your operation better. In addition to storage zones with fixed storage locations, you can also have zones specifically for non-storage activities like QC or processing, and designated areas for goods marshalling. One of the best features of ProSKU is its automatic put-away process, in which the system will decide where to store your incoming goods. To operate this, you can define preset rules for the system to use to find space. These can be found here in Depot Setup. At the simplest level, you can select a single zone in which your goods will be stored, but at a more advanced level, you can create what's called a location group. A location group is any group of storage locations put together to create a preferred put-away area. You can add single locations to this group or select specific blocks, columns or levels. For even greater precision, you can create what's known as a location rule. This can be any selection of zones and location groups put together to create your preferred put-away area, to which you can then apply your own chosen sequence. The final option under Depot Setup contains some rules for handling the picking and replenishment processes. These determine how picking operates when using a product pick face, helping you to handle stock and manage space with maximum efficiency. The ProSKU Receipts option makes receiving and storing goods very easy. It's designed for you to record key detail and put stock away using simple operational processes. So whether you record details after put away, assign locations at receipt, or use full automatic put away, the process is slick and straightforward. Receipt detail can be recorded manually using any device, or transferred into the system electronically using the pre-receipt facility. The details can then be quickly converted to create a live receipt. A scanning device can also be used to capture key product data. To begin a receipt process, simply select the Receipts option and click New Receipt. All receipts need brief header information, some of which may be mandatory depending on your setup. Stock owners, if used, will be recorded along with the marshalling zone. Drop-down lists and default options are provided wherever helpful to facilitate this. The Put Away Done option is used to record a receipt retrospectively. It means put away has already been completed, so you'll need to enter the locations you've used to store the product. Once you have entered your header detail, you can create the receipt. The receipt is now displayed with a system-generated reference number and 3 tabs at the top. The Receipts tab will show the record you've created and any others currently in progress. Then, to enter the product lines you want to receive, click the Receipt Lines tab. After selecting a product, complete the field to specify the number of units you're receiving. Input of some information may be mandatory depending on your setup, but the good news is, when using the automatic put-away function, there's not much else you need to do. The products you've entered on the receipt are now displayed at the top of the screen, and the number of lines added so far is shown on the tab. You'll notice that the location for the goods has already been assigned by the system, and that you can generate labels for the received goods. If required, you can delete any of the receipt lines at this point, but to complete the receipt and move to the put-away stage, simply click the Close and Generate Put-Away List button. The recording stage is now finished, so to confirm completion of the associated tasks, we'll now go to the Movements option. The Movements option is used to complete all system tasks, known as movements, and has a consistent display format for all types. In this case, we are looking at a put-away movement, which is performed after receiving goods. We are using a desktop device to complete this, but the process can also be completed using a handheld device. You'll notice that each movement is identified by its type and a unique number. And to the left of each line, there are checkboxes with which to select and print multiple movement lists. To understand the process more, we will look at an individual put-away movement. First of all, select the put-away movement by clicking the line on screen. You can now see the individual task displayed, along with buttons to confirm or print. The print button allows you to generate instructions for these movement tasks, but for multiple receipt movements, you can also use the checkboxes we saw on the previous screen. Once tasks have been completed, the movement list can be confirmed. To confirm all tasks on the list, you can do this simply by checking the Movements Done box and clicking the Confirm button. Alternatively, you can confirm an individual task, then close the list and return to complete it later. Where there are exceptions, you can deal with these by selecting the Edit box against an individual task. The two options, Move and Recalculate, allow you to deal with a number of situations. This can include changing the selected put-away location, changing the recorded quantity, or cancelling the put-away line altogether. Once you've clicked the Confirm button, your receipt process is complete. The stock received and the movements you've carried out are now all fully visible via the ProSKU reporting options. Like all ProSKU features, the order process is intuitive and easy to use, with the flexibility to deal with variations and exceptions. The process can be broken down into 3 stages: entering and processing an order, confirming a picked order, and dispatching the order. We're looking here at a manual order creation process, but remember that orders can also be automatically uploaded to ProSKU from other applications via API or CSV import. To begin the order process, first select the Orders option, then click New Order. As with receipts, some essential header information is needed to begin the process. A stock owner, when used, marshalling area, and customer delivery name are the only mandatory information fields. Once these are entered, you can create the order. The order is now displayed with a system-generated reference number and 3 tabs shown at the top. The Orders tab will show the order you've just created with a status of New Order, along with any others currently in progress. To enter product lines onto your order, simply click the Order Lines tab. Once you've selected the product to add, complete the field to record the number of units required. As we saw before, input of some information may be mandatory depending on your setup. The product order line you have entered is now displayed at the top of the screen, and the total number of lines added so far confirmed on the tab. In the order line display, there are 4 column headings: Quantity Required, Quantity Picked, Ready to Pick, and Dispatch Document. The details displayed under these headings will indicate the status of the order during processing. If required, you can delete the order line at this point, and up to the point of processing, you can simply close the order if no longer required. You can continue to add further product lines as shown here, or return to add them later. Once you've finished adding product lines, you can process the order for picking, but before doing this, you have the option to check stock availability for the order. Depending on your picking strategy, you can now go ahead and process the order. This can be done either by clicking the Process button seen here, or by clicking the Orders tab to return to the main display and selecting multiple orders to process. By processing an order, you are assigning stock to it, and that stock will now be reserved. The updated order display now shows a status of awaiting pick confirmation. To complete this next stage of the order, we will now go to the Movements option. The Movements option is used to complete all system tasks, known as movements, and has a consistent display format for all types. In this case, we are looking at the completion of a picking movement as part of the order process. We are using a desktop device to complete this, but the process can also be completed using a handheld device. You'll notice that each movement is identified by its type and a unique number, and to the left of each line there are checkboxes with which to select and print multiple movement lists. To understand the process more, we will look at an individual picking movement. First of all, select the picking movement by clicking the line on screen. You can now see the individual tasks displayed, along with buttons to confirm and print. The print button allows you to generate instructions for these movement tasks, but for multiple picking movements, you can also use the checkboxes we saw on the previous screen. Once the tasks have been completed, the movement list can be confirmed using either a desktop or mobile device, and for this reason, you can adjust the display to suit the device you are using. The display will also vary if you use any of the Scan Confirm functions, which allows scanning of check digits, product barcodes and serial numbers. For the purpose of this video, we'll look at the process in its standard form. To confirm all tasks on the list, you can do this simply by checking the Movements Done box and clicking the Confirm button. As we saw earlier, you can also confirm tasks individually, allowing you to part confirm the list if work is completed at different stages. Likewise, you can also deal with any exceptions by selecting the Edit button, with its two options of Cancel and Recalculate. This will enable you to deal with short picks or pick cancellation. Once you've clicked the Confirm button, the picking stage of the order process is complete, and we can proceed to look at the final stage of the process, Dispatch. Dispatch is the final stage in the ProSKU order process. Depending on your working methods, it can be the point at which you confirm that goods are dispatched or are ready to be dispatched. There are two processes you can use, one for standard orders and another for scan at pack orders. On entering the dispatch option, you'll see the orders which have reached the dispatch stage displayed on screen. For a standard order dispatch, there are two actions: to print delivery documentation and to confirm the order as dispatched. Clicking on the Print Delivery Note button will generate printable documentation as shown here. You can then confirm the dispatch by clicking the Confirm button on the individual line, or for multiple dispatches by using the Select and Confirm feature. A scan at pack order is one that requires a scan and check process before being dispatched. As with a standard order, you can view the delivery documentation, but you will see that it contains a watermark to advise that the scan process is yet to be carried out. The scan process allows you to scan at either item or product level to confirm the product and quantity being dispatched. Once all products or items have been scanned, clicking Complete updates the system and allows you to print the delivery documentation and confirm the dispatch as we saw before. ProSKU's stock management functions allow you to make changes or alterations to the physical stock position, including transfers, creating, adjusting and deleting stock, and changing stored stock data. The Transfers option is designed for transferring stock between locations. Creating a transfer is straightforward. After entering brief header detail, you can either select products to transfer or locations to transfer products from. After making a selection, you can enter the location you wish to transfer to in the box provided. The transfer will be added to a movement list, which can then be completed using the Movements function we have already seen. The Adjustments option is another key stock management function. It allows you to create or delete stock, adjust quantities, or change certain stored stock data. Two search options are provided, allowing you to select stock by product or by location. On making a selection of products, you have the ability, first of all, to create stock by using the button on the right-hand side. The form allows you to enter details of the stock you wish to create, and on clicking the Create button, the details of the stock creation are displayed on screen. To perform an adjustment, you can ignore the Create button and select one of the product lines, which will display a list of all available stock for the product. Clicking the Adjust button will display a form allowing adjustments to be made. As well as adjusting or deleting stock, you can amend any data held against the stock. This could include its status and any pallet references, batch numbers or rotation dates where applicable. Clicking the Save button will update any changes made. Other functions provided within adjustments include the means to split palletised stock across more than one pallet, and the facility to manage serial numbers associated with products. The ProSKU stock take function allows you to select stock for checking in a structured stock check process. After making the checks, you can enter your checked figures into the system for verification. After clicking the New Stock Take button, you can enter simple header information to begin your stock take. You are given different options to select the stock you want to include. This includes selection by zone, location group, single location or product. Here we are using the product search to generate a list of products from which specific ones can then be added to the stock take. Once selected, you can use the Add or Add All buttons depending on how much of the product line you want to include in the final stock check. With the selection made, you can now click the Begin Stock Take button to activate the stock take and generate printed stock check documentation. On completion of the stock take, use the Confirmation button to begin entering the checked figures. Confirmation is made by entering the checked figures into the boxes provided, with the option to display current system figures for comparison. Once this is done and you've confirmed the figures, the stock take is complete. Where there are discrepancies, the system will generate a report of the type shown here, which can be used to make any required adjustments. ProSKU's reporting options provide full detail on the current stock holding, with information on products, locations and associated data. You also have full traceability of stock movements for audit purposes and a location utilisation report. Using the reports is simple and intuitive, as this overview of the detailed stock enquiry shows. As you can see, the display shows a number of input fields for entering search data. If you want to extend the search fields available, this can be done by clicking the Edit symbol, which will offer a number of additional search options for use. You can then enter the search data for your report and click Get Report. The report is displayed with a number of standard column headings. These can easily be dragged and dropped into your preferred sequence. You can also add or delete columns in your report by using the Edit symbol to display further options. Any changes made can be retained for subsequent reports or discarded by using the Reset button at the bottom of the screen.